Welcome. Good morning. It's morning here in Santa Barbara, California. So wherever you are in the world, I hope you are well. I'm Brisha Kralovic-Logan. I'm the founder of the Women's Woven Voices Project, which is an international collaborative art project that was designed to support women as they claim their creative courage, their voice, their power through self-reflection and writing, the art of weaving, and sharing their stories. So this morning I am sitting here surrounded by the ongoing Women's Woven Voices tapestry. As the art activist and founder of the project, I receive story cloths from women and men and boys and girls from all over the globe, and I stitch them together into the tapestry that you see here. Each one of those cloths was created by an individual person to share their life story, or whatever it is they wanted to reflect about themselves. The mission of the project is to promote resilience, open communication, active listening, mutual respect and compassion in the face of the gender violence, abuse, and inequity that women experience around the globe. I'd like to start this session this morning by just sharing the tapestry with you. I so wish that you could be here with me, and I am so grateful that we are able to share this experience together online. Just a note that this is a part of the NGO CSW online forum, which is a part of the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women and Girls 65th annual gathering. And I'm here in my virtual exhibit booth and delighted to be a part of these 2 weeks of focusing on women. So I'd like to just share with you the tapestry. As I said, each one of these strips is a cloth that was woven by someone and submitted to the project. There are currently about 300 story cloths included in the tapestry at this point. The goal was originally to have 1,000 story cloths from women from around the globe. And in collaboration with several different groups this year, we should be at about 700 story cloths by the end of 2021. And so we are continuing to reach out to include people. At this point, the tapestry has stories from all over the United States of America, Canada, Australia, Bulgaria, Iran, Iraq, Syria, and Afghanistan. And we are reaching out to partners in, or we are working with partners in France and Germany and New Zealand. So I wanted you to just get a sense of what it would be like to be in the room with this collection of art, pieces of art, woven artwork that express the amazing life experiences of women from around the globe. So Each woman is asked to reflect on their life. I do have prompts for them to write about their life. And if you go to the website, womenswovenvoices.com, each step, the writing, the weaving, and the sharing is specifically set out for you there. You can find a meditation that you might like to listen to sort of set the mood for your writing. And then the prompts, which ask you to think about what your significant achievements or the things that made you feel the greatest strength in you, or what makes you feel the most whole. It asks you to think about the challenges that you've faced in your life and to think about what strengths you brought to those challenges to get you through those times in your life. It asks you to think about the people who have supported you. And it asks you to think about the people who your life experiences have engaged and the people that you've affected in your life. So each person has the choice of reflecting in whatever way they want. And then they're invited to weave. And of course, each of us has many, many stories and many, many chapters in our stories. So the weaving is completely up to the individual participants. Some people use the writing prompts to create sort of a timeline of situations in their life that they'd like to make note of. And then they use the colors to signify those different parts of their life. Some people just pick up colors that they love and start weaving. And as they weave, they let their intuition and memories and so their inner wisdom just come up. A lot of people talk about having new perspectives, being able to reframe while they engage in the methodic, rhythmic, really soothing weaving process, and that they end up coming up with insights that perhaps were just bubbling under the surface that they can then use to move themselves forward. Yeah. So today's topic that I wanted to share with you is communication, compassion, and change. Art as a catalyst for change. And I'd like to just read this quote to you or share this with you. And this is from a Congresswoman, Barbara Jordan. And this is found on the website for the Charter for Compassion. The arts are a response to our individuality and our nature. They help to shape our identity. What is there that can transcend deep difference and stubborn divisions? The arts. They have a wonderful universality. Art has the potential to unify. It can speak in many languages without a translator. The arts do not discriminate, and they lift us up. So art as a language. We know from depth psychology that our inner subconscious, we could call it our soul, really responds to art, to symbol, to image, to metaphor, to poetry. And there's a certain kind of knowing that we have it within us, that as whole human beings, using both our intellect and our language and our inner soul that responds to the non-language parts of communication, that there's this wholeness to us, and art really helps to bring that to the forefront. So this project, let me put that down. So in this project, women have shared every part of their life story. There are mothers, there are grandmothers, there are daughters, there are nieces, sisters, wives, partners, lovers, survivors who have shared their stories. And their stories have talked about all of the joys in their life, the births, the marriages, the PhDs, the successful businesses, the completed military service, the joy of their grandchildren, and the challenges of having been sexually abused, the challenges of financial ruin, the challenges of loved ones passing, the challenges of losing a child or a husband or a parent, the challenges of so many day-to-day circumstances. And yet, when you look at the tapestry, what do you see? The diversity, the creativity, the beauty, the power of these lives stitched together. I did a workshop with a group of women who are refugees from the Middle East and are now living in the United States. And actually, their panel is right here. I'm gonna put that panel right here, this panel here. And in the workshop, the women shared, I'm gonna just move out of the frame, let you just look at their work. Shared some of the trauma that their families had experienced, that they were escaping actually to come to the United States. And when they were weaving their story cloths, one after another talked about the hope and the optimism that they had for their children and for themselves, for this new life that they were creating. And when you look at their tapestry, they've included many bits and pieces and parts from their life in their home countries. And they've also included and expressed when they shared about their story class, just their vibrant joy and, as I said, their hope and their optimism. One of the participants shared that when she completed her story cloth, she looked at it and thought, oh my goodness, this is so beautiful. And then she gave it to me along with all of the other participants to be stitched together. And once the panel was stitched together, we had an exhibition and shared the entire tapestry. And through tears, she said, oh my gosh, when I walked into the room and I saw my story cloth stitched together with all of the other stories of my fellow participants in that workshop, but then all of the other stories from women from around the world, she said she just couldn't believe how it had been transformed into something even more beautiful. So let's talk a little bit about compassion. When this project was conceived a couple of years ago when I was lucky enough to be a part of a team that produced a conference for the International Women's Day, which is March 8th. And I was in Washington State in Vancouver. And we had a conference where we invited speakers to come and share their stories with us, inspiring women who were doing things that we really thought the people at the conference would be so happy to hear about. We invited the women to just share their journey. How did you end up being this person who wrote this book or started this community organization or who's really doing these positive things? We'd just love to know. And so at the end of the conference, so 6 speakers came and they shared their stories. At the end of the conference, the last speaker called attention to a theme that had come up during the day, in that 5 out of the 6 speakers spoke about being sexually abused in their lifetime as a part of their journey. And the last speaker, clearly said this day of inspiration and hearing such amazing things that women have been doing has this underlying theme. And she said, just out of curiosity, if you have been affected in some way by sexual abuse, and you completely optional if you would like to stand up. There were 300 women in the room, and as 300 women just rose to their feet, honestly, I looked around, there really wasn't anyone still sitting in their seats. Women that I knew, women that I didn't know, just standing together and sharing that their story included some kind of abuse. And it was clearly so unacceptable that every woman in that room had that shared experience. And for me as an artist, it was a really transformative moment. I knew that I wanted to add my my artistic voice, and I wanted to gather voices from other women, and I wanted to create artwork that would amplify compassionate action and that would add to the solutions to eliminate this, to really call attention to this culture where women everywhere were experiencing abuse, and yet that this unacceptable thing. And how do we shift that? How do we change that? So I started the project, and not that long after, I encountered another artist who introduced me to the Charter for Compassion. And I became a partner with the Charter for Compassion. And I just wanted to say that this was a big shift for me, because I always believed that it was important to focus on what it is we want. And I had been working with organizations that were focusing on eliminating violence against women. And you have to call it out. You have to say there's violence against women. And yet part of me really wanted to put energy into what I wanted, which is compassionate action and a world where women can thrive, where everyone can thrive, women, men, boys, girls, the planet, where everyone is considered recognized in their sacredness. So through the Charter for Compassion, I became involved in the women and girls sector. And a group of women came together and all had the same goal. So within the time that we started focusing on what it is that we wanted, a beautiful concept was born. I want to give credit to Donna Mills, who is the co-leader right now of the women and girls sector of the Charter for Compassion, because this phrase came through her, which is the partnership for a safe and sacred now. So in thinking about domination and abuse, patriarchy, and where that's brought, what kind of a culture that's created in the world, we said, no, that's not what we want. What we want is partnership. We want collaboration. We want community. We want people working together. So partnership. It must include safety for all, because we know that safety is one of the most basic human needs. So it absolutely has to include safety for all, that every person feels like they are able to live their life without the threat of, or the fear of, being put in danger by another. And we wanted every person to be recognized as the sacred being, because that's when we thrive. That's when we're the most whole. That's when we fulfill our potential. And when do we want that? We want it now. So the partnership for a safe and sacred now. And that concept is now been birthed through the Charter for Compassion. And the Women and Girls sector has invited people to join us in imagining what that would be in manifesting that, in creating, taking that vision on. So this February of 2021, we had an open call, and we invited people to just join us in this journey to manifesting this partnership for a safe and sacred now. In March, just last week, I presented the Women's Woven Voices as a way that one person is using art to bring together community and collaboration that emphasizes compassion, and that also encourages women to share their stories of their experiences in life, and then to call on the collective to bring their energy towards solutions for healing and resilience for each of those people who participated, and then together to move towards the partnership for a safe and sacred now. We'll continue the conversation. We have some upcoming programming in May. So I'm inviting you to check out charterforcompassion.org. The PSSN is the acronym, and you can find that online. And I would love to have you join us in May as we focus in on what partnership really is, what that looks like in the context of creating a safe and sacred world, and coming from every single angle. So, I'm an artist, so bringing art into it. People who are working with social justice, education, business, youth, senior wisdom, every aspect of community. We would love to have your input, and we would love to partner and collaborate with you on this vision, what that takes. And I believe that this 2 weeks that the Commission on the Status of Women, this gathering of women, the NGO, the organizations from all over the world of people gathering together in community, really with this same goal in mind, and coming at it from many, many different angles and experiences and expertise and passion. This is a very transformative and powerful time. So change is in the future, and change is now. Change is now. I invite you, if you have any questions, if you're interested in finding out more about the Women's Woven Voices, my website is womenswovenvoices.com. You can participate in the project. You can order a free loom kit. You can order loom kits for your group. There are resources. There are tutorial videos. There's more about me. There's gallery of pictures. There's a whole little world there for you to explore. And I would love to connect with you wherever you are in the world, find out what you are doing to further a partnership for a safe and sacred now, and to add to a compassionate world. So thank you for being with me for this time, and I wish you well.